Welcome back to Sorare Assist. Adam here, and as we know, the end of season sale has started, and today I'm going to be highlighting some more top targets you should consider for your SS5 squads in preparation for next season. If you like these videos, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not signed up to Sorare yet, there is a link in the description below if you did want to get signed up today. This really helps support the Sorare Assist YouTube channel as well. Okay then, so the end of season sale is now here, and today I'm going to be picking the top budget targets in terms of price and quality for the SO5 scoring. Today I'm going to be picking players from the French Ligue 1. This is part 1 of this two-part series, where I'll be highlighting some goalkeepers, defenders and midfielders. And then in part 2 I'll be highlighting the rest of the midfielders and also some forwards. So without further ado, let's get stuck in, and remember, none of this content is financial advice, and always do your own research. Okay then, so let's start with the goalkeepers, and the first one I've gone for is Steve Mandanda of Marseille. He is 37 now, but it does look like he wants to find first team football, whether that be at Marseille or at a different club. Nice are one of the teams that have apparently been interested in Mandanda, and he does want to leave to get that first team football if that's not available at Marseille. He's got an L40 of 59, L15 of 59, and his limited is currently going for around 61, and his rare is currently going for around 551. That is the current floor price. Now, his price has been a bit up and down recently, so it's not really come down that much in terms of price. But in terms of a goalkeeper who could potentially get in first team football next season, is still looking a very decent option, so I thought it was one worth mentioning anyway. And if we look in the last year and the appearances he has made for Marseille, which he's got some absolutely fantastic scores when he has played, he's also got 9 clean sheets as well in these 18 starts, which is absolutely fantastic. So you can see why he's in hot demand from the other clubs. And this price for a rare goalkeeper is looking pretty good to me, especially if he does get a 2-year contract, something like that, potentially at a new club. He does have a contract till 2024 with Marseille currently. As I say though, he does want to move if they can't guarantee him first team football, and he is targeting to be part of the World Cup squad in Qatar. Next up we've got Anthony Lopez of Olympique Lyon. 31, L40 of 50, L15 of 52. His limited is currently going for around 155 at the minute, and his rare is going for around 1047 on the auction. If you look at his price graph for his rare card, back in January he's going for 1,894, 1,900 here, 1,600. As I say, the most recent auction is sold for 1,000, so that's nearly a 50% discount on his price. If you look at his limited price, similar story, 386 here in February, 354 in February, and more recently 154. Looks a really good option for a Champion Europe goalkeeper if that is what you're after. Scores wise, in the last year, he's got some brilliant numbers here. He's also got 13 clean sheets in the last year as well, and 7 scores in the 60 to 70 range, and 5 scores in the 70 to 80, which is absolutely fantastic for a goalkeeper. Moving on to the defenders then, the first one I've gone for is William Saliba of Marseille. Only 21, he's got under 23 eligibility until 2025 as well. L40 of 60, L15 of 58. He's going for around 219 at the moment, and his rare is going for around 1,200. If you look at his price back here on auction for his rare, is going for around 3,290. 2,200 here, more recently 1,200. Limited price, similar story as peak here, around 610. 578 here, 514, and more recently someone's picked him up for £200, which is a really cheap price for an under 23 player. Got some brilliant scores as well, as you can see from his score graph. Some absolutely fantastic numbers here for a defender. Some peak scores as well of 90s and 80s as well. He's got 17 scores in the 60 to 70 range, so he's going to be getting you consistently good scores, and his AA score is looking especially impressive at 24. Next defender I've gone for is Benoit Badiashile of Monaco. Another under 23 player here, again eligibility till July 2025. He's only 21, L40 of 57, L15 of 60. His limited is going for around 157 at the moment, and his rare is going for around 1,140. Looking at his price back here, he's going for 1,300, 1,300, 1,100. So his price has not come down that much in terms of his rare price, but he's still getting a good quality player here who's young at a fair price. If we look at his limited was going for around 150 here, Like I say, similar story as well. Not much of a reduction, but still a really good player to consider for your squads. Now, if we look at his scores in last year as well, AA is looking good at 19. He's got 5 scores in the 670 range and 5 scores in the 70 to 80 range. So he's looking really good. As you can see, there's a period where he was out and not playing. This is probably why his price did take a dip here. But as when he was playing before, his price was sort of peaking. And that's what's happened more recently with these brilliant scores towards the end of the season, including a 100 score as well. So it could be another viable option for your squads, especially if you're after an under 23 defender. Another good option in defence is Prenzl Kimpembe of PSG. Under 26, L40 of 57, L15 of 49. Limited is going for around 110 at the moment, and his rare price is going for around 737. Now, if we look at his price here on the auction, it was selling for £1,500 for his rare, 1,000 here. More recently, someone's picked him up for 737. So as you can see, that's a pretty good saving on a quality player. And there's limited again, a similar story, 362 here, 342. This was just in February this year, and 212 in April. And more recent auction is sold for £100. So it looks like you can pick this guy up for a cheap price at the moment. He's got some fantastic scores as well. Some really good numbers here for defender. He's also had 1 goal in last year. AA looks really impressive. An average of 21. And he's got 8 scores in the 70 to 80 range and also 2 scores in the 80 to 90. Which shows he's capable of the higher peak scores as well, which is also important. Moving on then, next defender is Hamari Traore of Rennes. L40 of 57, L15 of 56. Now he's going for quite a cheap price at the moment. His limited is going for around 38 and his rare is going for around £300. If we look at his price graph, his rare was 384 here. Back here was selling for 500. More recently someone's picked him up for 310. So a bit of a reduction there in his price. The limited has been a bit up and down, 51 here, 60 here. There's also 43 here. More recently you pick him up for 35. So slight saving on this guy, but it does look a really good quality price point, this guy, especially with these scores that he's getting here. And we can see from his score graph as well, he's also scored 3 goals in the last year and also got a fantastic 10 assists as well. He's got 7 scores in the 670 range, 6 scores in the 70 to 80, and he's also got 5 scores between 80 and 100, which is really impressive, especially for a defender. Probably attributed to his assists and goals. For the month of June, I'm running a competition for my loyal followers on Twitter and YouTube. And I'm giving away an Alexander Sobolov limited card. To enter the competition, you need to follow me on Twitter, subscribe to this YouTube channel. You also need to retweet the pinned tweet on my Twitter page, which will be the competition tweet. And the most important one is to comment on the YouTube videos throughout June right here on the Sorare Assist YouTube channel. At the end of June, I'll pick a random video released in June. Then I will select a random comment in that YouTube video, and whoever made that comment will win this Alexander Sobolov card, as long as they have followed the entry criteria for this competition, and that is to subscribe to this YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, and retweet the pinned tweet on my Twitter page. The card will be sent via Sorare, of course, at the end of June after the winner is announced. So thanks for being a follower and subscriber if you are already, and good luck in this competition. Another good defender option is Alexander Gicu of Strasbourg. 27, L40, 56, L15, L55. Limited is going for around £38 at the moment, his rare is going for around 338. If we look at his price on this price graph, it was going for 586 here, 565, 530. This was just back in February. More recently, someone's picked him up for 330. As you can see, that's around £200 off his price. And if we look at his limited card, 55 here, 64, 66. More recently, someone's picked him up for 35. So again, looks another good option. It was on sale. And if we look at his score graph, he's got 2 scores of 100 here. He's got a number of good scores within the 60 to 100 range, which is good, which is what we like to see. He's also got 2 goals as well. So he's looking a really decent option there for your defence. And last defender I've gone for is Deju Kaletakar of Marseille. L40 of 55 and L15 of 52. Limited is going for 46 at the moment, and his rare is going for around £250. If I look at his graph then, so his rare was going for 660 here, 542, 587, 469. This was just back in February, and the more recent auction 249. So as you can see, decent saving at the moment if this is a type of defender you was after. 144 for his limited here, 135, 111 back here more recently, £44 more recently, which is also almost a 50% reduction. And scores wise, looking good as well. Some really good numbers here. 3 goals as well in the last year. Plenty of scores in the 60 to 70 range as well, which is decent for a defender. So looking at a very viable option for your SO5 squad. So moving on to the midfielders then, the first one I've gone for is Dimitri Payet. He is 35 now, but he has got a long contract still with Marseille until June 2024. He's got an L40 of 64 and L15 of 61. His limited at the moment is going for around 127 and his rare is going for around 753. If you look at his price graph, 1,400 he was going for here in February, 1,600 in February as well. Price did start to come down a little bit as the season wore on, 878. More recently, someone's picked him up for £720. It's looking really good to me, and is limited. Similar story, 430 here, 430 here, 282 in February, and more recently someone's picked him up for £119, which looks a decent price to me, especially if he can carry on his form, which I don't see why he wouldn't. One of the key players for Marseille this year. As I say, he has got a long contract, so it looks like his fitness levels are probably up to scratch still. And he is going to reward you with some absolutely fantastic scores as well. And he's amazingly scored 16 goals and 13 assists in the last year as well. And as you can see from his bar graph here, he's got some fantastic scores. 11 scores in the 70 to 80 range and 10 scores in the 60 to 70 range. Not only that, he's also got 7 scores between 80 and 100. Really good player, this guy. His AA is looking decent as well for a midfielder. And he's getting the goals, getting the assists. So looking at a really viable option who's capable of getting some really high scores. The final midfielder I've gone for this week, and final player as well, is Benjamin Beauregard of Rennes. L40 of 61 and an L15 of 70. His limited at the moment is going for around 154 and his rare is going for around £1,000. If you look at his price graph then, so he's going for 1,600 here, 1,340 here, more recently 1,140. As you can see, he has a slight reduction there. His limited 196 around this area here, 192. This was just back in April. More recently, someone's picked him up for £150. Looks a real quality player, this, showing real consistency as well, as you can see from his L5, L15 and L40. He's also got some really good scores and scored 12 goals and 15 assists in the last year as well. And he's played 100% of the games in the last year as well for Rennes. He's got 9 scores in 70-80 range as well, 6 in the 80 to 90 and also 3 in the 90 to 100 range. Looks a really quality player, this guy, and only looks to be getting better and better each season. So that was all the selections for this part 1 of the French Ligue 1 end of season sale quality options in terms of price and score output. If you did like this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget you can become a member of this YouTube channel now by clicking that join button below. This helps support this content as well, currently and in the future. You can also become a supporter now of Sorare Assist as well on the Patreon by joining the supporter tier or any of the other tiers, where you'll also get more exclusive member only videos as well as by joining one of the tiers. So consider taking a look at these options. Information is in the description below. And of course, if you've not signed up to Sorare yet, sign up using the link below to get a free limited card and 13 common cards. Okay, thanks for watching today. I'll see you again soon for part 2 of this French Ligue 1 end of season sale player scouting.